What if I told you that her silence isn't actually silence at all? What if her quiet, her withdrawal, her sudden distance is actually the loudest scream her soul can manage? Jung once wrote, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." But what happens when the thing that's screaming at you is what she's not saying? I've seen it happen 1,000 times. A woman goes quiet, and the man assumes she's fine. She stops arguing, and he thinks the problem is solved. She retreats into herself, and he believes he's finally got some peace. He has no idea. He's just lost her.
See, there's something most people don't understand about feminine psychology. When a woman truly loves you, when her soul is invested in you, her silence is never just silence. It's a language, a code, a desperate attempt to communicate something so deep, so raw, so vulnerable that words would destroy it. Today, I'm going to decode that language for you. I'm going to show you the 7 unmistakable signs that her silence isn't indifference, it's devastation. That her quiet isn't peace, it's her soul crying out in a frequency only the awakened can hear. Because here's what Jung knew about the feminine psyche. When a woman retreats into silence, she's not giving up on you. She's protecting something sacred that you've wounded. And if you miss these signs, if you mistake her soul's last desperate attempt to connect for simple moodiness, you might lose her forever. Are you ready to hear what her silence is really saying?
Sign number 1. The invisible wall. When physical distance mirrors emotional distance. You're sharing the same space but breathing different air. Those spontaneous moments of connection. The shoulder brush while cooking, the automatic good morning kiss, the way she used to curl into you during movies have evaporated like morning mist. Let me tell you about Maya. Maya used to create these invisible threads of connection throughout the day. A hand on your shoulder as she passed, sitting close enough that your legs would touch, that automatic gravitational pull toward each other. But then something shifted. She started creating subtle distance, sitting on the opposite end of the couch, walking a step ahead or behind instead of beside you. That new tension when you entered her personal space.
Jung understood this as the body expressing what the soul cannot speak. When a woman's anima, her soul essence, has been wounded, physical contact can feel like too much stimulation, too much vulnerability. This isn't rejection. This is self-preservation. The invisible wall isn't about not loving you anymore. It's about her emotional nervous system being so overwhelmed that even loving touch feels like sensory overload. Have you noticed this shift? Have you felt her pulling back physically even when you're in the same room? If you're sensing this invisible barrier, if she flinches slightly when you reach for her, if the casual, unconscious affection has disappeared, her silence is saying, "I'm too raw right now to let you close enough to hurt me again."
Sign 2. The Great Redirection. Suddenly, she's become this productivity machine. Every spare moment is consumed by work projects, friend drama, home improvement, fitness goals, volunteer commitments, anything except quality time with you. Her calendar looks impressive, but you feel like a footnote in her life story. I remember Jessica telling me, "I threw myself into everything, work, the gym, helping my sister plan her wedding. I was busier than I'd ever been, but I felt emptier than ever." The truth was, I couldn't bear to sit still because sitting still meant
feeling how much he'd hurt me. This isn't necessarily about avoiding you specifically. When our primary relationships feel unstable or painful, we instinctively channel our energy toward areas where we feel capable and appreciated.
Jung called this libido displacement. The psychic energy that should flow toward intimate connection gets redirected to safer territories. It's emotional diversification, spreading the risk so that one source of pain can't devastate everything. Energy flows where it feels rewarded and safe. Think about it. When was the last time she had free time and chose to spend it with you? When did she last cancel other plans because she just wanted to be close to you? If she's filling every moment with activities that don't include you, if she seems to prefer being busy over being present with you, her silence is saying, "I can't bear to be still with you right now," because stillness means feeling, and feeling means remembering how much you've hurt me. Sign 3. The dark humor defense, when pain disguises itself as jokes. She starts dropping these oddly heavy comments disguised as jokes. Maybe you'd be better off with someone who actually has their life together. Or, I should probably just disappear and spare everyone the trouble. The laugh that follows feels hollow, and you're left wondering if she's kidding or crying out. Maya Angelou once said, "When people show you who they are, believe them." But sometimes, people show you who they're becoming through jokes that aren't really jokes at all. These aren't random thoughts. They're emotional trial runs. When a woman is wrestling with deep insecurity or fear, when her soul is drowning in shame, she might test these feelings in joke form to see how you react. Jung understood this as the shadow speaking through humor. The parts of herself she's most afraid are true, she'll present them as comedy to gauge whether you'll validate them or contradict them. It's a way of expressing vulnerable truths while maintaining plausible deniability. I once worked with a woman who would constantly joke about being too much work, too complicated, too broken. Every comment was followed by nervous laughter, but behind that laugh was a soul begging to be told she was worth the effort. Listen to the jokes she's making about herself, about your relationship, about her worth. Pay attention to the themes. Is she joking about being a burden? About you being better off without her? About not being good enough? Her silence between words is filled with pain she doesn't know how to express directly. What is she joking about that makes your heart clench because you sense the truth underneath? Sign 4. The emotional flatline, when passion dies into numbness. Perhaps the most unsettling shift of all, she's become eerily even-keeled. The passionate discussions are gone. The spontaneous laughter has faded. Even arguments feel muted and lifeless. It's like someone turned down the emotional volume on the entire relationship. This is what I call the emotional flatline, and it's perhaps the most dangerous sign of all. Sarah used to feel everything deeply. She'd get excited about weekend plans, frustrated with work drama, moved to tears by beautiful sunsets. Her emotional range was like a symphony, complex, dynamic, alive. Then she went quiet. Not just verbally quiet, emotionally quiet. She became this neutral, agreeable person who seemed fine with everything and passionate about nothing. This emotional numbing often gets misread as maturity, but it's frequently the opposite. Jung understood this as the psyche's protection mechanism. When someone has been hurt repeatedly, when their emotional expressions have been dismissed, criticized, or used against them, they might unconsciously shut down to protect themselves. It's not that they don't care. They care so much that feeling has become dangerous. The flatline isn't indifference. It's a soul that has learned that emotional expression leads to pain, so it chooses numbness instead. When did she stop getting excited about things? When did her emotional reactions become so measured, so controlled, so absent? Her silence isn't just in her words anymore. It's in her entire emotional landscape.
Sign 5. The information drought, when her inner world becomes off-limits. Remember when she used to share everything? The weird dream she had? The conversation that made her think? The random observation about the barista's new haircut? Her hopes for the weekend? Her worries about her mother? Now when you ask about her day, you get executive summaries. Work was fine, meeting was boring, traffic was bad. This retreat from small-talk intimacy is actually profound. Those daily details aren't just conversation fillers. They're the threads that weave two lives together. They're how souls stay connected across the ordinary moments. Jung wrote about this as the withdrawal of libido, not sexual libido, but psychic energy. When a woman stops investing her emotional energy in sharing with you, when her inner world becomes private even while you're together, her silence is saying, "My inner world isn't safe with you anymore."
I remember David telling me she still talks to me about practical things. Who's picking up groceries, what time the appointment is, whether we need to fix the sink. But I realize I don't know what she's feeling about anything. I don't know what makes her happy or worried or excited anymore. It's like living with a beautiful stranger. When someone stops sharing their inner landscape with you, they've essentially moved their soul to a different address. When did you last know what was really going on inside her heart? When did she last share something that had nothing to do with logistics and everything to do with her soul? If her inner life has become a mystery to you, if she's present in body but absent in spirit, her silence is protecting her vulnerability from further damage.
Sign number 6, the apology spiral, when she apologizes for existing. She begins apologizing for taking so long. "Sorry, I know I'm being quiet. Sorry for being in the way. Sorry, I'm not feeling well. Sorry for needing space." She apologizes for things that don't require apologies, creating this strange atmosphere where you feel like her very presence feels burdensome. To herself, this over-apologizing is one of the most heartbreaking signs because it reveals how small she's learned to make herself. Each sorry is really a question. Am I acceptable? Are we okay? Do I deserve to take up this space? Jung understood this as the ego attempting to prevent abandonment through preemptive submission. When someone's soul has been wounded repeatedly, they start apologizing for their basic human needs to avoid further rejection. She's not being polite, she's trying to survive.
Maria told me, I found myself apologizing for everything. For crying, for being tired, for having opinions, for needing affection. I was trying to make myself so small and undemanding that maybe he wouldn't leave. But I was disappearing myself in the process. When someone starts apologizing for existing, for having needs, for taking up space, their silence isn't just between their words, it's in their belief that they don't deserve to speak at all. What is she apologizing for that makes your heart break because you realize she thinks her basic humanity is too much. If she's saying sorry for being human, for having emotions, for needing love, her silence is saying, I've learned that I'm too much, so I'm trying to become nothing.
Sign number 7, the most dangerous pattern, the false peace that feels like surrender. Here's the pattern that fools almost everyone: the sudden calm after the storm. The complaints stop. The tears dry up. The conflicts disappear. You breathe a sigh of relief, thinking, finally, we're through the worst of it. But sometimes this isn't peace. It's surrender. This is the silence of someone who has stopped fighting because they no longer believe fighting will change anything. They haven't found resolution. They found resignation. This dangerous calm often appears when someone has emotionally checked out while physically remaining present. They've made peace not with you, but with the idea that things will never improve. The silence isn't contentment. It's preparation for goodbye. I've seen this pattern destroy relationships because it masquerades as healing. The constant tension is gone, yes, but so is the investment, so is the hope, so is the belief that love can transform pain into connection. Jung wrote about this as the death of the transcendent function, the ability to hold creative tension between opposites. When someone gives up on the possibility of growth, when they stop believing that conflict can lead to deeper understanding, their silence becomes the quiet of someone who's already left, even though their body is still there. You know that look she used to give you? That soft, vulnerable, I see your soul and I love what I see look. The way her eyes would light up when you walked in the room. It's gone. Oh, she still looks at you. She still makes eye contact. But there's something missing. The light behind her eyes when she looks at you. It's dimmed. What you see is absence, protective numbness, the look of someone who's still there but has moved to their heart to a safe distance.
If this sudden peace appears alongside other patterns we've discussed, don't celebrate it, investigate it. Because sometimes the quietest moments are when souls are screaming the loudest. The integration, what her silence really means. Here's what Jung understood about the feminine psyche that most people miss. A woman's silence is never really silence. It's a language of protection, preservation, and profound communication. When she goes quiet, when she withdraws, when her soul seems to disappear, she's not leaving you. She's protecting the part of herself that still loves you from the part of you that might hurt it again. Her silence is her last attempt to save the relationship by saving herself.
So, if you're recognizing these signs, if her silence suddenly makes sense, if you're realizing that her quiet has been her soul crying out, you still have a chance. But it requires something most people aren't willing to do. It requires you to stop trying to get her to talk and start creating safety for her silence to transform back into connection. Tonight, I want you to do something revolutionary. Don't ask her what's wrong. Don't try to fix her silence. Instead, sit with her in it. Hold space for her withdrawal without making it about you. And then, quietly, consistently,
Without fanfare, start showing her that her inner world matters to you, that her feelings have impact, that her heart is safe with you. Her silence will only end when her soul believes it's safe to speak again. Drop a comment and tell me, have you been missing the language of her silence? What will you do differently now that you understand what she's really trying to tell you? And if this opened your eyes, if you finally understand what her quiet has been saying, subscribe, because next week we're diving into the one thing that makes a woman's soul choose you forever. Remember, her silence isn't the end of her love. It's her love protecting itself. Listen to what she's not saying. Your soul will thank you.